Okay, so it's 8:26 in the morning on February 15th, 2021. And I was like slept forever. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me, but I woke up like right before 7, which I usually wake up like in the middle of the night because I went to sleep so early. Anyways, I was I woke up and I was just laying there because I leave the TV on, and this commercial came on with an actor we all know, and I'm like, gee, I was surprised at what I was looking at because there was something that a lot of people, especially the weirder people like I am, that is a new thing that people think might be very bad for people. And here I am looking at this actor in this commercial for this thing. Now, he probably was affiliated with the company all along, and I'm guessing that I saw commercials with him for this company before. So, you know, people do commercials for whatever reasons. They want to make money, obviously. But I was sitting there watching. I'm like, gee, this is somebody I think. I mean, I don't know these people, but I think this person is a good person. This is yet another person whose autograph I got at one point. Um, I always thought he was a good guy, and I still think he's a good guy. But he's doing this commercial for something that may or may not be bad for people. We don't know yet, but a lot of people think it will be. And I'm saying to myself, you know what? That's a brand new commercial. I mean, it may have been on during the Super Bowl. I don't know. But that means that this commercial had to have been made since lockdown. You know what I'm saying? And it's been bad enough to go through everything we've gone through. It's been bad enough for all the people who've suffered tragedies and who've lost a lot. And just in general, society has lost a lot. I mean, but again, the people on the bottom, that 99%, they've been treated like refuse by the government for this whole time. And I could switch that to the elites, I guess, because, as this started in the very beginning, there were all these messages from celebrities. We're all in this together. And it smacked of ham, it was so, are you serious? Even before they kept doing it from their mansions with all their money and all, oh no, I have to teach my kids math. Meanwhile, they hired people to do it. um, and even if they didn't, they have so much compared to the person who lives in the middle of the country with no Wi-Fi and now has to the kids have to remote learn, and they have to help them when they, it just the ridiculous split in how this pandemic has affected people, and it's not because of the disease. Almost nothing I talk about the pandemic is because of the disease. It's because of the government imposed lockdowns that shut people down, that shut our economy down. So I don't like that because I was like, is my nose bleeding? So it doesn't look like it. Anyways, this actor, it's been in a million commercials. I mean, he's been in a million movies. That's why I know he's got a whole ton of money. It's funny because the other one I'm going to talk about just appeared on my screen. um, and like I said, I don't mind people making money. There's nothing wrong with people making money. It's just during this pandemic, what seems to have happened is it shows how far from normal celebrities have become. I remember years ago, I was watching an episode of the Oprah Winfrey Show. This is a long time ago. and she like went to Costco. I was supposed to be really funny, Oprah in Costco. I've never been to a Costco. I live on the East Coast. I think that's mainly a West Coast thing. I'm not sure though, but as far as I know, there's not one near me. But I get the idea. So she went to Costco, and I just remembered this point in the show where there was a pillow for $30, and we both reacted. I'm watching the show. I'm reacting to her show, and I'm like, oh my God, and she's like, oh my God, because this pillow was $30, and I'm saying to myself, I didn't know pillows could be that expensive, and Oprah's going, I didn't know pillows could be that cheap, and I was like, what? Because in my opinion, from my information, she grew up ridiculously poor, poorer than I've ever been. I think that she had a situation where she had like an outhouse where she lived. You had to go to the bathroom outside, like in the olden times. So I'm not 100% certain, but it was that kind of bad poverty that people still face, which is ridiculous in 2021. But so for her to be fascinated by the cheapness of this really expensive pillow just made me think, I don't understand, because there's rich people and rich people don't understand poor people. But when they were poor, they were super poor, and they not forgot, but just the level of difference between what normal people are paying for items in a store is completely lost on somebody who grew up poor, but now they've been rich for a long time. It's kind of like, what happens to their minds once people become rich and they live rich lifestyles and stuff like that, but you still think that people who were once poor remember. Anyway, so I've always understood that there's some weird thing that happens when you're rich. But okay, now we've gone through this lockdown. Everybody knows what's going on because everybody has been locked down. If you watch the news at all, I don't care where you're watching the news from. I don't care if you're watching it from an ivory tower, and your servants are carrying you so you won't have to be, touching the ground while you watch the news. You got to see the news sometime. You got to know how sad and tragic it is for the people on the bottom and how much money they don't have. But celebrities have shown their ass, as they say, over and over and over again throughout this pandemic, in terms of not even bragging about their money, but continuing to try to make money off of people, continuing to try to make money while everybody else is locked down. I mean, the first one, again, I'm not saying any names, the first one I was disgusted with, because there's wanting to make money, and then there's just chasing after it like it's water in the desert. And it's like, you're not going to spend the money you have. What are you doing? And then they're already gross to me. But now at this time, we have one celebrity who's extremely popular who kept selling his alcohol during the lockdowns. And I said to myself, oh my God, what's wrong with this guy? Because I was like, why does he have his own brand of alcohol in the first place? Once you have a certain amount of money, how much more do you need to make? Are you trying to be Rockefellers now? Or do you want to say that your family, generations after you're dead, is going to be this huge wealthy family? Is that what you're thinking? Because what else? Why do you need to make more money like that you're going to sell something is bad for people? I know a lot of people like to drink. I don't get it. Because I think it does harm. It does harm. I grew up around alcoholics, so I made sure to never ever drink, because I was like, I don't want to run that risk of becoming like that. And I don't like the way they behave. It's horrible to be around alcoholics, and they do so much damage. And alcohol, in my opinion, you may think I'm a prohibitionist for saying stuff like that, but it's like the silent, acceptable menace that people don't treat like other drugs, and it does just as much damage, maybe more. Somebody could get alcohol poisoning, but it just takes longer. It has lasting effects on everyone, and it has done. for a long time. And I always think about the people who have already had a problem with anything, any drugs and stuff like that. But again, with celebrities over the years, I would watch the erosion of any kind of attitude that this is a dangerous thing, because on daytime programming you see talk show hosts talking about drinking last night and talk about this drink and that drink and then talk about the recipes for the drink. And I would say to myself, oh my God, imagine somebody is an alcoholic and they've been trying to stay sober and they're just watching daytime TV, minding their business. They turn on the TV like 10 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They're being hammered with, somebody pushing alcohol in their face, telling them how great it is. And whenever I see people really pushing alcohol, I'm like, are you trying to stop alcoholics from maintaining their sobriety? Is that your point? So you can make some money? I mean, you've got to see the side of that. It's one thing if you're thoughtlessly talking about your night and everything, but it started to be a daily thing on some of these shows. And I'm just like, this is daytime. I remember being a kid and hearing that they couldn't play beer commercials. I don't know if it was before 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night when I was a kid growing up. Now it's like constant, let's drink, let's be really fun people and drink. Let's drink all the time. Yeah, we had so many drinks, drink. And I just like, how are people supposed to make it if they're trying to not be alcoholics anymore, if they're trying to stop this problem they have, So what disgusts me anyway, people just sitting there bragging about drinking all the time. And then, because if you drink, good for you. It's almost like kids who are trying to be like, oh, I'm so awesome, I smoked yesterday, or I got a drink. Like they just drank for the first time and they want to brag to their friends, oh, I'm really sophisticated now, I had a drink. You know what I mean? It's just like, why? Have your nice time. Why do you need to, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know what their motivations is, but it bothered me because I'm like, that's harming somebody who was really trying to stay sober just went and got a drink because they couldn't avoid it, So then there's this actor who has his own brand of alcohol, and there's more than one that have their own brand of alcohol. And like I said, they both have money they're never going to spend. They're never going to be able to spend all the money they have. So unless they're trying to be Rockefellers and have a long line, I don't know what they're doing. But this one, who had been pushing his alcohol since he invented it, which wasn't that long ago, but during the pandemic, these people would put on their Instagram, which goes to their Twitter, just constant, buy my alcohol, buy my alcohol, buy my alcohol, buy. I'm like, wow, people are locked down now. Anybody who had any kind of substance use problem is going to be isolated. They're going to be stuck in the house. They're going to be depressed. They're going to be sad. This is the time when people are going to turn to the bottle, and here you are with your mountains of cash and all your popularity, just shoving this in somebody's face so you can make more money than what you already have. And I just got so disgusted because I already was disgusted with the way he was plugging the alcohol before this pandemic started. But he just, the minute everybody was locked down, I really felt like instead of him thinking about all the death and destruction, he was like, captive audience for my brand. And I was just like, oh, what a horrible person, and I never thought that about that. I mean, I was graduating toward that because of this thing. But then when he went all the way with it in the pandemic, boom, 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 every freaking post, another thing. Look at my alcohol. Here's my alcohol. Alcohol. Buy my alcohol. As if it makes you healthy, as if it makes you taller and smarter and your hair luxurious. It does not. We're not talking about wine coolers, okay? We're not talking about beer, okay? And it made me so disgusted to see that all the time. But then as time started to wear on and I don't know, these people, their movies went back into production or whatever, or they started to still be able to conduct their business from their mansions with all their servants and stuff. It started to be, they relaxed their knowledge of people's lives being impacted or something, because they all started with buy my crap, buy this thing, buy that thing. And like I'm saying, these are people who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm not talking about an actor who was on a show and had a small part, or somebody who made some movies but they got divorced and had kids and had to pay alimony. I'm not talking about people who were once famous, made maybe a couple $1,000,000, but could have hit the skids. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about people who have money hand over fist. They're extremely popular. They're making a lot of money. Their grandkids would have to really be stupid idiots to spend it all. You know what I mean? So that quest for money, quest for more money, is just, I don't understand it. Like I said, they must watch the news. They must see what the people they tell us are so wonderful. They're politicians that they want us to vote for because they're celebrities and they know better than us. They must see that what these people have done, what they've done to the people on the bottom. Maybe they don't care, but then if they don't care, why are they on Instagram? Why are they trying to sell their shit to the little people who made them rich, who go to their movies, who prop them up on a pedestal? What are they doing that for if they don't even know? I mean, they know what's going on in this world, but they're also somehow completely detached. And I'm starting to think that's a form of mental illness, when you become so famous that you're so far away from what's actually happening to the common man that, you know what I mean? Because it's almost, I mean, obviously they have to be locked down to some degree too, but it's almost like they have no concept. They have no concept, not only of what people have gone through this lockdown, but they clearly don't know what life was like before, because they don't realize that it was so far down that for things to fall lower is crazy. And they don't have any idea. Just like Oprah and the Pillow, they have no idea what's going on with people. The idiot's on here promoting his new television program on NBC, the one I was just talking about with his alcohol. It's one thing to be an alcoholic. It's one thing to want to have money. It's another thing. What did I say? Did I say be an alcoholic? Be a workaholic? Is what I meant. I think I said alcoholic. But to try to constantly make money in the middle of what everybody's going through, it's depraved. It's depraved, and especially when you're trying to make money off of something that might be bad for people, So, like I said, there's other celebrities too. I'm sure some of these people, let me just say, I'm sure some of these people take their money and do good with it, because I don't know what they do with their money. They could give to charities. They could support God knows what. They could give away millions and millions of dollars, which will only be a tax break, but they could give away millions and millions of dollars and do good with their money. And I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm talking about this, this indifference to people's daily lives, or ignorance of people's daily lives. It just, I can't fathom it. I can't fathom being that detached when most of these people I'm talking about, they did not grow up rich. If Paris Hilton didn't understand poor people, I'd say okay, because she was the heiress, But these people who at some point, at least they were regular people. They didn't have to be incredibly poor, but they were regular people. And then it's been amazing how sad they've been. Like I said, there are celebrities who try sometimes and they want to help. There are other celebrities who they want to talk about these soup kitchens and stuff like that. And it's like, it's so far beyond that. I'm not saying people don't need food. Of course people need food. I mean, the way they're doing things overseas is just as bad. I saw a thing the other day. They've got like record low temperatures. And there were people, I think it was in Scotland, they were standing outside in a line in the freezing cold and snow for one hot meal at a soup kitchen, because apparently all these people, I think they have been homeless, or some of them may have been, not all these people were homeless, But the people who, some of them, they were putting them in hotels just like they do here. But what the government is giving them is like, I don't know, something ridiculous for breakfast, like a piece of fruit and like breakfast cereal, like cold cereal. And that's all they give them for the whole day. So these people, they've been going to these soup kitchens, to get a hot meal. And they, because they're desperate, they're standing out there, and like at night, the sun's not out, so there's no warmth from the sun. In like what we would call, like, it's below freezing, so it's less than 32 degrees. And they're standing there 6 feet apart for hours waiting for this hot meal. You can't imagine that in some place that's not completely war torn or something. This is how people are living right now. And yet I have celebrities trying to push things that might kill you on you so they can make some more money. And but even the ones, like I said, that talk about the plight of the people who, and they want to be, they still, when they talk, they're so far detached, they don't understand how bad it is. And that if you start like, oh, let's get involved and let's try to help people out, the little things you want to help with, that's only going to keep them alive for one day. People need massive amounts of help. And I don't know what happens to celebrities. I don't know. Like I said, they want to tell you who to vote for. They want to tell you your life. But yet they're so far detached from normal life, from what people are really going through. How can they get on their soapbox every 4 years for an election? How can they show products to poor people in the middle of a pandemic? You don't have to watch the news all day. You just have to have heard once or twice that people need stimulus checks, that people need them, that businesses were shut down because of the lockdown. You don't need to hear the news over and over again to not understand that that's happening. And don't tell me they haven't heard it. So what's the process in their heads that say, I can keep doing this, I'm going to keep chasing money and taking it from poor people? Because that's what a commercial is. That's what selling your alcohol is doing. You're selling it to poor people. You're selling it to people who are probably desperate. You're selling alcohol. You're selling it to alcoholics. It's sad. But beyond me being upset or anything, I'm like, what is the thought process? What's going through their head when they think, oh yeah, pandemic, people are dying, people are starving, businesses are ruined. Oh, we have to evacuate our home state, or our state of California. We have to escape because California is turning into a horrible place to live. Meanwhile, they probably voted for that governor. He's the one that did that to the people of their, or if they didn't, you know what I mean? They support that side. They don't speak out. Nobody said nothing. Almost nobody said nothing about the treatment of poor people by government during this time. But they were all ready to tell us who to vote for. And they're ready to tell everybody to buy their alcohol. And they're ready to tell people, this other thing is going to be great, which may harm people in untold ways for some money. What's going on in their heads? Because I have no clue. I have no clue what they're thinking. I can't even guess.